Okay, it says that we are live. So hey you guys, it's Ty. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. It is currently 9:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today is Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. So I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. It's currently, I guess, raining. I didn't know it was gonna rain. It just started raining out of nowhere. So I hope you guys are getting to and from your destination safely, as well as preparing yourself for the weather. So where I'm at right now, I'm inside. So I hope you guys are driving safe. And if it's raining, snowing, or regardless of how the weather is, that you guys are just being careful and protecting yourself. So that being said, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much. If this is your first time here, welcome on this channel as an intuitive leader, inspirational teacher, and a channeler or a psychic channeler. I suggest and advise information for the collective. So with that being said, I do not tell people what to do or how to feel. I'm just here to leave messages for the collective. So if these messages resonate with you, make sure you're giving this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. And most importantly, don't forget to hit the notification bell if you're not already. So like I said, it's going on 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today is Tuesday. So I hope everyone is enjoying their evening, their morning, or afternoon, or regardless of when you're watching this, as well as staying hydrated. So I'm going to give this maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and start the video, and I'm going to take a sip of my water. I love water, you guys, and I seriously need to get back to being on my water diet. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the ambulance or the fire truck or some form of siren is going off right now. But happy Tuesday, you guys. Today is April 5th, 2022. And I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for those of you who are returning. And then if you're stopping by here, once again, I suggest and advise information. I speak from a place of experience, as well as what has helped me along my journey. So with that being said, I do like to educate the collective and inform you guys with factual information. And I do that by using natural resources, by using dictionaries, thesaurus, glossaries, as well as what I've been exposed to from opportunity and experiences. So that being said, healing is an option. It is a choice. You do not have to heal. So I suggest and advise that if you're coming across this video, if you're coming across this page, that you're just being mindful of the intentions that you set for yourself, as well as when it comes to your everyday life and your experiences, and to not allow anyone to invalidate anything that you've gone through, including myself. So when it comes to healing, be mindful of what you're consuming your energy with, whether it's environments, peoples, locations, physical, material, financial, abundance, and to take your time. So for today's video, the title is Healing is a Journey. So once again, I'm just going to give this 2 more minutes. I'm going to go ahead. So if you are new, make sure you're following me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Ty_guidance. And for those of you who are returning, I just want to say thank you guys so much. So as I am doing this really quickly, I'm going to make the thumbnail for the video. So when it's time to upload the video, or when it's time to process the video, I have a thumbnail for you guys, because YouTube randomly gets the weirdest parts. I don't know how YouTube picks the thumbnail. I know it's live, so like it's censored, but like the clips are like, I think it's the most weirdest parts of the video that they pick from, and it's intentional, you guys. A lot of things are intentional, so use your discernment. So when it comes to, like I said, exposing yourself and healing yourself, being mindful of what you're listening, what you're watching, and the energy that you are, what is the word, engaging in. Water tastes so good, you guys. I really need to get back on this water diet. because, yeah, I'm not perfect, you guys. I'm a regular person too. So on this channel, I don't know everything. If I haven't been exposed to it in my life, in my everyday life, I do take the time to like look things up and educate myself. Excuse me. So we'll just give this a moment. Okay, so in a minute, I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I'm almost done with the thumbnail. And you guys, I'm still working on making better thumbnails because my impressions definitely have been improving as well as my WT. It's just the thumbnails. But you guys, on this channel, because I'm a regular person, I too am understanding that life is a process and that healing is a journey. So I'm just learning how to adapt and go with the flow. So I just ask for those of you who are come across this page to be patient because just like me trying to figure out what's working for me and what's not working for you, the same thing I would suggest and advise to you guys is to be patient with yourself when it comes to healing and doing things that you never like been exposed to or not being so hard on yourself and just doing the best you can by being the best that you can. So like we're gonna go ahead and start the video. When it comes to healing, knowing that it is a journey. So the reason why I labeled this video Healing is a Journey is because processing something requires effort as much as it does your time and energy. So when it comes to a journey, that is something that is ongoing. And when it comes to you being exposed to life, your life is a journey for however long you are going to live for. And because there's no right or wrong way to live in life, being patient with yourself and accepting that your life is a journey so you're able to process, your past, your present, and your future. So when it comes to growing, when it comes to healing, when it comes to forgiving yourself, it is going to take some time and energy. I'm just going to be very like honest and like one thing that I like to do, or what I've been doing, is giving you guys a little bit of here and there information about my past for one, educational purposes, and to be relatable as well as being inspirational. I do not come on here to just tell my business or to overshare information or for people to praise or validate what I'm being said because it's my life, it's my business, and it is what it is. I'm not here to deny it or make it a trending topic. I do this for people to know that when it comes to experiencing life and processing your decisions, whether they're negative or positive, whether it's from your past, your present, your future, that one, it is possible for you to learn. It is possible for you to educate yourself, and that it's possible to lack the knowledge and the wisdom and certain opportunities that cause you to feel emotional, that may cause you to feel upset, that may cause you to feel sad, mad, angry, or happy because our emotions are just that. So when it comes to accepting life and healing, and what I want to suggest and advise is interpreting it as a journey. What I would say would have helped me along my journey was to realize how I can move forward and not feel stagnant and not feel so depressed and not feel so worried. But with doing that, accepting life as a journey instead of a race or a competition or needing validation, the more you're able to, make time for yourself emotionally, physically, financially, intuitively, whatever aspect you need to work on yourself, the more grateful I will say you may become. And when it comes to being grateful and expressing gratitude, the more you're able to appreciate life, I feel like the more you're able to understand life. And one thing that I want to suggest and advise when it comes to healing and it being a journey is processing your life, understanding decisions that you made that were positive or negative, understanding your emotions, understanding your thoughts, and that the past and the present and the future is just for you to one, do things that align with your intention in your spirit, as well as accepting the things that you have done previously and where you are now and where you would like to be. I can say for myself, because I don't like to speak for the collective, it's unless it's something that I feel like is mutual. For myself, one thing that I've had to realize is not trying to be at an end goal or not allowing myself to do everything in one day or 1 year. And I know that's something that sounds easier said than done, but for example, let's just say we have a goal for ourselves. And let's just say we want to lose weight. I like to use examples that are common for people to process because everyone does not have the same emotional, financial, intuitively, academically, and geographically resources and tools. So if let's just say we're trying to lose weight and we both, anyone who's watching this weigh 500 pounds and I weigh 500 pounds. And our goal is is to lose. Let me do some math really quickly, you guys. We weigh 500 pounds. And you guys, I've not been in school in a while. This is why it's so important to educate yourself every single day or when you can, okay? But let's just say we weigh 500 pounds and we want to lose 370 so we can weigh 130 pounds. Yes, I needed a calculator to do that. And let's just say we're so fascinated to lose 370 pounds that we don't think about how long it's going to take or how much time it takes for us to actually lose weight. Our focus and our infatuation of just wanting to lose the 370 pounds is going to become everything we focus on. And one thing that I want to suggest and advise and what has helped me along my journey is not to look at the actual weight that needs to be lost, so the goal, but doing what it takes to achieve the goal, if that makes sense. Because if we both weigh 500 pounds and we're trying to lose 370 pounds and we start working out and we don't lose 370 pounds in a certain day or a certain timeline or having an expectation, now we feel discouraged. Now we feel disappointed. Now we may have all of these emotions that clutter our mind and our judgment that has us to cause doubt or has us to be worried or to be overwhelmed, which can cause anxiety or having us to be depressed because we haven't lost the weight that we wanted. And when you focus on the end result, you focus on the goal, you what I want to suggest and advise, you may get distracted or discouraged by accepting the fact that you wanted to lose weight, which was your purpose. And that's the same thing when it comes to your life and accepting that life is a journey. So when it comes to healing, being more in the moment and not focusing too much on your end goal. If you have a goal, it is nothing wrong with setting a goal and having, boundaries and expectation. What I want to suggest and advise is really processing the goal and processing your expectations and making sure they align with where you are right now. So, for example, if we're losing weight, like I said, we start off weighing 500 pounds. Let's just say today, April 5th. And let's just say hypothetically, it takes like a month to lose 370 pounds. If we're worried about April 30th, the end of the day, and we didn't work out from April 5th up until the 29th, we're not going to see any results and we're not going to have any form of instant gratification, which is going to cause our emotions and how we feel about ourselves to be less than or we may lack. And one thing that I want to say to you all is when it comes to achieving a goal and doing something or just healing yourself, to not focus so much on the actual result, but aligning yourself. So, therefore, when you're losing weight from the 5th to the 29th, not only are you applying yourself, but emotionally you are aligned with your goal, with your aligned with your purpose. So when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to you healing, you don't feel discouraged, you don't feel distracted, you don't feel less than, you don't feel like you're lacking because you are where you need to be. And that is something that is really helping me understand myself as well as my purpose in aligning myself. Because if we set a goal for myself or ourselves and we don't achieve it by a certain timeline or when we feel like an expectation is when it's supposed to happen, we get upset as people. And it's common. It's not to say that it's not possible for us to achieve our goals. It's not possible for us to set goals. But one thing that I've realized what I'm learning to understand about myself personally is that I have to align myself with the goal. Like every single day in your life matters. It does. And the more you're able to align yourself spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, intuitively, however you are looking and whatever you want for yourself, the more you will realize that every single day matters. It's going to take every single day from your past, from your present moment to your future to get to where it is that you need to be. And one thing that I want to suggest and advise is not limiting yourself when it comes to your journey, when it comes to healing, and accepting that it is a journey and that it does take time. So, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, for me at least, to not have so many expectations of the end result or the goal that that's all you're worried about. The more you worry about something that is out of your control or how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, the more overwhelmed you may feel, the more anxiety that you're bringing to yourself, the more depressed that you may feel, the more lack that you feel, the more discouraged you may feel. And we live in a society where it's like if you're not doing certain things, if you're not doing things like society has this illusion and expectation of standards which doesn't fit everybody's narrative. This is why I labeled the title Healing is a Journey. And what I want to suggest and advise is to not look at other people's lives and compare yourself or even surround yourself or even watch people and places and things that make you feel like you cannot accomplish whatever it is that you want because everybody's healing is different because yes, we all have the same physical 24 hours and yes, we all have access to receive physical and material items, but it doesn't mean one, people are going to, people are willing to, or people know how. So, me personally, where I'm at in my healing phase, I'm just here as a vessel supernaturally in the physical world to help those who choose to be helped, as well as myself, to align ourselves, to be realistic with ourselves, to pace ourselves so we can gradually and gently accept where we are so we can move forward. But the reason why I labeled the title Healing is a Journey because when it comes to healing, If let's just say you've been suffering for 20 years or 10 years and you didn't know that you were suffering for 20 and 10 years, and then one day you decide that you wanted to heal yourself, you have to realize it's 20 years worth of information, education, lack, worry, emotions that you've been exposed to. And that's something that I'm realizing that when it comes to healing, like I said, when it comes to going to the gym and losing weight, if we weigh 500 pounds and we want to lose 370 pounds, if it took us, let's just say 20 years or 10 years, this is hypothetically, these are all examples, of course, to gain this weight, why would we think that us losing 370 pounds is going to happen in a day? That's not realistic and it's not fair. And one thing that I've realized and what I want to suggest to you guys is to be fair to yourself. If you do not have the resources and the tools to align yourself supernaturally or academically or financially or even geographically when it comes to your life and you're trying to do something different, you're trying to heal yourself, to not be so hard on yourself. It's not fair for you to one compare yourself to anybody. I think it's very disrespectful when people compare themselves with people or to compete with people because nobody is you. Nobody is you. You are beautiful the way that you're born. Second of all, it's not fair for you to look at your life and be overwhelmed or be discouraged when no one in life physically, not for the supernatural folks who are in part of the spiritual community, but physically in our flesh, none of us asked to be born. Supernaturally, we all have karmic dues and karmic debts, and we are all here for whatever reason. But for those in the physical, for those in the flesh, for those in the 3D who are not aware of the supernatural just yet, none of us asked to be born. So it's not fair for you, let's just say, if you were born in an environment that was considered to be toxic or narcissistic, or you didn't have emotional support, you didn't have the financial support, you weren't privileged, to be so hard on yourself and discourage yourself when it comes to you trying to better yourself. And that's something too that I'm realizing, like, where I would want to be is not where I'm coming from. And I have to accept that and realize that where I'm coming from and where I want to go are two different destinations, but it requires me from where I came from to be in the present moment for me to end where I want to be. So the more you're able to be patient with yourself, the more you're able to, what I want to suggest and advise, looking at life in a bigger picture. So like taking yourself out of the equation. So that whether that's physically, emotionally, financially, academically, removing yourself from society's standards and needs. So what I mean by that is if most people in America are taught that if you don't have a job, if you don't have a car, if you're not an entrepreneur, if you're not this or not that, anything that you did not say about yourself. So any form of projection, because projections are not real. They are of other people's thoughts and emotions that have nothing to do with you. So if you feel like you're being pressured from the world, whether it's through, your resources, your environment, taking a step back, questioning yourself and questioning what you've been exposed to. And the purpose of this is for you to realize what it is that you want for yourself and if what you want for yourself is what the world wants for you. Because it's a difference between what other people want for you and what other people feel about you than how you feel about yourself. I personally know this from experience because a lot of people have projected their insecurities onto me. Majority, I will not say majority, but I would say I've been exposed to a lot of people projecting, and I'm not here for it. And as I get older, I don't tolerate it. I don't, because just like me, like I said, in the flesh, everybody equally under the sun and the moon, because we all have the same sun and the moon. We may not have the same physical time. No one asks to be here. So when it comes to accepting your life as a journey, the more, like I said, you're able to take a step back from what you've been taught and what you've been exposed to, and the more you're able to spend time with yourself, whether it's emotionally, financially, physically, however you choose to, the more you're able to be grounded with yourself. And when it comes to grounding yourself, you're able to then control your emotions, your thoughts, your actions, and your behaviors. And because healing is a journey, it takes work. Like, once again, if you've been exposed to certain environments, certain education, lack of knowledge, lack of education, certain resources, not being so hard on yourself. Like, the more you can accept your life as a journey and not looking so much at the end goal, the more you could be in the present moment to interpret and heal yourself, because it does take time and energy. So, for example, I've been exposed to certain realities and opportunities and environments that no longer align with me or where I want to be. And in order for me to be in the present moment, to shift that energy and attract and align myself to be in a different set of energy, I have to take time for myself. So, what I want to suggest and advise for anybody watching this and for those of you returning is to get a notebook and, excuse me, write down pros and cons about yourself. And the reason why I tell you guys to get a notebook is, one, to not only express your emotions, and like when you express your emotions, document it. So, like, write the time, the day, the year, and what you feel if you do not have anybody. So, whether that's emotionally, financially, or, intuitively, or just someone to support you, to comfort you. Write down how you feel, good or bad. The more you're able to write down how you feel, the more you're able to understand, like, what it is that you're going through and how it affects you. Because most people, when they go through life and they don't heal themselves or know how to heal themselves, they don't realize that something has happened to them, or they're so emotionally damaged that they can't express themselves. So if you don't have someone to confide in, I do want to suggest and advise you get a notebook or journal and you document how you feel. And whether you start today, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, apply yourself, because everyone in the world is suffering. Everybody is going through trauma. The world has been very chaotic for a long time. And in order for the world to be a better place, we as individual people, including myself, have to work on ourselves internally. We have to work on our spirit so our physical, emotional, financial, and material world can be, what we want for ourselves. Next, when it comes to writing down how you feel and documenting it, you want to write down like a set of pros and cons list. And this is something that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And me personally, I do this to update myself to know, what's working for me and what's not working. And the reason why I feel like it's important to have a pros and a cons list when it comes to yourself is because if there are things that you lack in your life or things that you don't like about yourself, or whatever you're being exposed to, and necessarily you may or may not have the control, you're able to realize what you can do about the situation and how you can handle it. So, me personally, I'm a solution based person. If there's a problem, I do like to solve them, not just because I think I know everything, I have to be right. No, I don't like problems. I do not like to stress. I do not like to be worried. Like, I've realized for me, worrying is like self-sabotaging to the core, and it's really unhealthy. Like, self-destruction to me is really unhealthy. Like, it's not okay. That's why people are suicidal. That's why people have really bad anxiety. That's why people are depressed. So for me, writing down a pros and a cons list helps me realize the problems that I have, or areas where I lack, or things that I don't have, to make me realize what can I do about it, what's going on, and how is this making me feel. So therefore, when I am in a position, or if I'm trying to better myself to be in a position, I know what needs to be done and how it's going to affect me. Because let's just say you need financial abundance or you need emotional support and you do not have it. If you're aware of what it is that is triggering you or what's causing you to have this lack or worry or doubt, whatever it is, you can now start applying yourself and coming up with strategies and solutions to resolve your issues. Because when it comes to healing, because it's a journey, you have to process it. And another thing I want to suggest and advise when you make your pros and your cons list and you write down how you feel is to not be hard on yourself. So, like, really take some time to hear yourself. So, for example, almost 4 or 5 years ago, I lost one of my parents, and emotionally and mentally, I was triggered and I was traumatized. And it wasn't until like last year I realized like how traumatized I was because I didn't heal from it. And I still am learning how to heal from it. And because healing is a journey, there is no right or wrong way. And healing, I feel like, is like grieving. Grieving is like the cycle. There's never gonna be a point in your life where you don't feel, or you don't, you know, have emotions that cause you to feel good or bad. So that is something that, like I said, is ongoing. And when it comes to life, looking at life as a journey more so than a competition or a race, because we live to die. And I know that may sound triggering to people, but anything that I say that is not a fact, which my opinion, or it is factual, is with consent of love, because being realistic with ourselves. Anything that I suggest and advise to you guys, I hold myself accountable in my real life, because if I'm not speaking from experience and I'm not educating myself, what is the purpose of me talking? What is the purpose of me making these videos? And I'm not saying that like literally, but like, even though life is very magical and it is a big dream, we're still dreaming as long as you're alive. And as long as you're living, you're alive. So, like, trying to make the best of your life, regardless of how you were born into it. Because let's just say you're born into your life and you're not able to control your life, like most and everybody. We didn't get to pick, like I said, for those of you who are in the supernatural and the spiritual, this is for those who are still in the physical. So don't come for me or these people. But physically, we did not align ourselves in our flesh to know our, guardians and etc. Compared to supernaturally, our existence. That's, like I said, something different. Okay. But accepting that, hold on, you guys, I'm trying to make this thumbnail really quickly. But accepting that, so I just want you guys to know that when it comes to healing, to not be so hard on yourself. Okay. And that's something too, as this physical year continues and this physical month continues, something that I'm going to be working on, so I could suggest and advise information for you guys, because I do, take the advice that I give for you guys, because like I said, for me at least, I know that the world is a magical place. So anything that I do, I want it to be authentic as well as genuine. And when it comes to being authentic and genuine, I want it to be relatable, because this is my vessel and this is my experience and this is my opportunity. So if I cannot be, I would say, honest or truthful or vulnerable with myself, why would you all take the information that I suggest and advise to you? Because I don't just want to be somebody who just tells anybody what they want to hear. So I don't think anybody in life should want to be around people that just tell them what they hear. There are people in life that do, like I said, society plays a big part. There are certain, things in our lives that just tell people what they want to do and what they want to hear. But I don't feel like that's really helpful when it comes to people, especially when it comes to healing, because I feel like if you just tell somebody what they want to hear and not really like helping them, people are going to continue to be lost. And the people that tell you any and everything, because there are people that just say any and everything, they're just as lost as the people that they're trying to lead and guide. And when people, like I said, are supernaturally intuitive, for those who know, You're not fooling anybody other than yourself. And that's all you're doing is making a fool out of yourself. And on this channel, I represent myself. Yes, I've made foolish decisions, but I'm not a fool. Okay? Honk honk. I'm not a clown. Okay, you guys. So anytime anybody wants to be childish or try to clown you or do things that are not aligned with you, just honk honk, give them a honk honk, and you tell them, JoJo, this is not the circus. And if you guys watch that show, shout out to Disney Channel, shout out to JoJo Circus. You guys, that's what I grew up watching. Hey, hey, it's JoJo Circus. I used to be a really good show. JoJo Circus and Roly Poly O, you guys. Those were my shows that I grew up watching. Okay, that's the childhood that I grew up on. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna end this video in 5 minutes unless anybody comes back in and out to the chat because there are some people in the chat. And you guys, I'm just fixing my hair. I need to get some gel. I think I'm going to the store this weekend. And I don't know what to do with it because it's at an awkward length. As you guys can see, I have these two little ponytails. And like, I don't know how to do my hair. I'm gonna learn how to do my hair. I've never been taught how to do my hair or maintain my hair. So I'm doing the best that I can. So when it comes to healing, I just want us to be mindful of what we're saying to ourselves and mindful of what we're exposing ourselves with in the environments as well as the people, which may be your environment, but just taking your time in that the more you can accept that it's a process and that your life is a journey, I feel like you'll be able to interpret and realize that you don't have to be so hard on yourself and you don't have to get to your end result. Because, for example, this is something that I'm learning about myself. Let's just say that I got exactly what I wanted. If I don't know what to do with it, how to appreciate it, or know what it's like, when I get it, how am I going to be able to maintain it or appreciate it? And that's something that I'm realizing when it comes to life. Anything that is of value, anything that requires effort and energy is something that you would want to last, as well as be stable, as well as it be beneficial to you in the most convenient way and being something that affects you long term. And once again, it just goes back to realizing that when it comes to us experiencing life, because we're all learning, we're all healing ourselves, we're all on a different level, different place in space, that we shouldn't want to rush. Because if we live to, DEATH into DIE in the physical, not supernaturally and spiritually, why would you want to rush? So what I want to say and my overall intention for this video is to take your time and align yourself. You have to align yourself with that end result. You can't just start from, that's like a race. You can't start from the starting point without going through the actual race and getting to the finish line. In order for you to cross the finish line, you have to start at the starting line. So you have the starting line, you have the middle, and you have the end. So next time you see yourself or you feel like you're getting deprived or you feel discouraged, take a step back and ask yourself, am I aligning myself with where I need to be in the present moment? So when it comes to achieving a goal, when it comes to you healing yourself, once again, if you're dealing with trauma, neglect, ADHD, OCD, PTSD, suffering, depression, anxiety for 20 years, 15 years, or if you're trying to lose 370 pounds, you weigh 500 pounds, ask yourself, how many times am I going to the gym? Or how many times a week am I writing down my thoughts? Or am I taking time to myself to accept and acknowledge and recognize that emotionally, mentally, or financially that I'm unstable? And the more you hold yourself accountable and the more you apply yourself, the more you will, of course, grow. But it is a process. Healing is a journey. So it doesn't matter from the day you were born up until now. Every single day of your life matters. And every single day from your decisions that you're making, whether they're good or bad, is going to affect you. And that is the actual journey in life. So if you're making decisions that are not affecting you, or if you want to grow, if you want to move forward, being mindful of the decisions, being mindful, like I said, of your surroundings, being mindful of what you're consuming your energy with. So if you want to, like me, I'm trying to be on this diet. I have to be real with myself. How many times am I drinking my water bottle? How many times am I, you know, drinking water throughout the day versus how many times did I have orange juice or how many times did I drink whatever juice that I had? And to not be so hard on yourself. If you're trying to start a diet and all you've been eating is fried food or all you've been drinking is soda, knowing that it's going to take some energy just as much as effort for you to become consistent, because that's something I want to say, like being consistent, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, so hopefully this is not to offend anybody, but a lot of people, this is why it's really important to be mindful of who you listen to. A lot of people, certain people, I will say, would just say, oh, all you have to do is be consistent, without telling you like what consistency is or how to actually become consistent. That's like if I said, all you have to do in life is be consistent. If someone doesn't know how to be consistent or what that looks like to them, or is educated on how to become consistent, you telling somebody to be consistent is not going to make somebody become consistent. That's like when it comes to certain groups of people or certain people, the advice that they suggest and advise is bullshit. That's just my opinion, you guys. But that's all I'm going to say, because it's not my job to discredit people, but I'm allowed to have emotions and I'm allowed to have opinions too. This is why I like to suggest and advise and inform you guys with factual information, because when it comes to people, I would suggest and advise listening to people or watching people that you feel as though that you resonate. So like me, I obviously do not resonate with everyone. I'm not just about to sit here and listen to somebody tell me, oh, all you gotta do is become, because if I don't know what that's like, if I don't know how to apply myself, if I don't have the education, if I don't have the tools and I don't have the resources, it's easier for you, Dan or Joe, to sit here and say that when you're in a position or you have privileges that somebody else does not have. So, once again, just be mindful of the energy that you're exposing yourself to, whether it's entertainment, your environment, or when it comes to your resources. So, I just want to say thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys are following me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Taya_guidance to stay up to date. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below or let me know. And if you have any topics you guys want me to go over, so go ahead and, like I said, follow me, DM me, and ask me anything that you need to, because I'm a very teachable person. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. It is now going on 10:40 p.m. I'm going to give this 2 minutes for the timer to make it odd. I like odd numbers, you guys. The only even number I like is this one number. Almost said it. I'll tell you guys later. But I like odd numbers, so I just want to make this odd when it ends. So in a couple of seconds, I'm about to end this video. Of course, unless anybody comes in within the last couple of seconds. But if not, I just want to say thank you guys, knowing that healing is a journey. It is going to take some time. So don't give up on yourself, okay? Because every single day your life matters. And do not be so hard on yourself. Do not be so hard on yourself. And me too, just like you guys, every day that I show up for you guys, I'm showing up for myself and I'm doing the same thing too. So we're not alone, okay? It is okay to feel. It is okay to feel sad. It is okay to cry. It is okay if anybody makes fun of you, anybody laughs about you, if anybody talks about you, just know those people need way more healing than you do. Like I've been saying, I do not have enemies, I do not have haters. If you have a problem, you have a problem with the divine. I'm not divine, I'm just the messenger. Okay. So, that being said, I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life.